What's going on, guys? Sharpshot here. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. So for today's video, we're going to be looking at the pros and cons of Bite the Bullet versus Iron Will, and we're going to be looking at which one you should pick in 2021. Bite the Bullet and Iron Will are really similar in the fact that they silence your injury noises, so I thought this would be a really good comparison. If you guys haven't noticed already, I'm also in my new apartment, and a little goose told me that at 25k YouTube subs that we're going to do an apartment tour, so subscribe to the YouTube now. So I'm first going to be explaining how both of the perks work, and then I'm going to go into the pros and cons of Bite the Bullet and then do the same for Iron Will. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give my pick on what I think is the better perk overall. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Bite the Bullet is Leon's level 30 teachable, and it makes it so that whenever you're healing yourself or healing someone else, your grunts of pain and your injury noises and all the noises related to healing are completely suppressed and silenced. So whenever you're healing, it's completely quiet. And it also makes it so that if you do fail a skill check while healing, it's suppressed, and it only adds a regression penalty of 3, 2, or 1%. And what isn't mentioned in the perk description is that when you are healing someone else, it also silences their grunts of pain when they're injured. So both of the people getting healed are going to be completely silent. So the perk's effects are not only applied to you, but the other survivor you're healing as well. Moving on to Iron Will, which is Jake's level 30 teachable. This perk is really simple. It basically just mutes your injury noises and grunts of pain by 50, 75, or 100%. So at tier 3, your grunts of pain are completely silent, and when you're injured, you don't emit any noises whatsoever. Starting with Bite the Bullet, the first pro that this perk has is that it silences all healing and injury noises regardless of the tier. This means that tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, your healing and injury noises will be completely silent. So if this is a perk that you just recently unlocked, or it's a perk you have a tier 3, you're still going to get the complete silence out of any tier of this perk, which is really good for beginners. The second pro that this perk has is that its effects are applied to other survivors that you're healing. This is a really altruistic perk because not only are you healing someone, you're also applying the silence effect to them. So if you're around the killer or in the general area of the killer, they won't hear you or the other survivors' grunts of pain. So it hides and covers your tracks for both of you guys. With that being said, the third pro is that it can get you and other survivors out of sticky situations. When you are healing, if you're alone or with other survivors, you're going to be completely silent. So it can get you out of sticky situations. If you hear the killer coming near you and you're injured, you can use self-care or a med kit and quickly heal, and you'll be completely silent until the killer leaves, and then you can move on with whatever you're doing in the trial. And if you're with someone else and you guys are both injured, or the other survivor is injured, you can heal them, and it'll hide the noises for both you and the other survivor until the killer leaves. With that being said, the first con this perk has is that it's not easily activatable. You need additional things other than the perk itself to actually activate it alone. You either need self-care or a med kit to activate it on your own and heal yourself, or you need to be next to another survivor to heal them to actually get the silence out of this perk. So it's not a one-stop shop. You can't just put on this perk and get use out of it whenever you want. And the second con this perk has is that it's not as useful if you're in the middle of a chase. Yes, there are some situations where you can gain enough distance in a chase and then quickly hide behind a corner and heal and be completely silent, and then the killer won't know where you are at all. But with that being said, if the killer is pretty close to you, this will be really tough to pull off, and the killer will be able to track you just the same because your grunts of pain will be just as loud. And if you do try to silence it mid-chase, most likely the killer will be close enough to easily know where you are. Moving on to Iron Will, the first pro that this perk has is that your grunts of pain and injury noises are completely silent at all times at tier 3, which leads me to my second pro in that it makes you really stealthy and really hard to track from the killer standpoint in and outside of chases. If you're in a chase, you gain somewhat of distance and you cut the line of sight, meaning that the killer won't be able to see you, they won't be able to hear or have eyes on you, so it'll make them really hard to track and know where you went. So it'll be really easy to lose the killer in a chase. And outside of a chase, if you're injured, the killer won't come on to you as easily because they won't be able to hear you, and if you're hidden and they don't see you, they also don't hear you, so most likely the killer will just walk right by you. But with that being said, a big con with this perk is that if the perk itself isn't at tier 3 and it's at tier 1 or tier 2, it's basically useless because it only suppresses a certain percentage of your grunts of pain, meaning that you won't be completely silent at all times. The killer will still be able to somewhat hear you in the trial. So with that being said, if Iron Will isn't at tier 3, I wouldn't run this perk at all. It's not that useful. Moving on to my pick on what I think is better between Bite the Bullet and Iron Will, I think Iron Will is better if it is at tier 3. After all, when you are at tier 3, Iron Will is completely silent. So when you're injured, you won't have to worry about the killer hearing you because you're going to be silent and then you're going to emit no grunts of pain. It'll be really hard to track, like I said before, in and outside of chases, and it makes you a really stealthy and really versatile survivor, being able to do whatever you want without worrying that the killer will overhear you. With that being said though, I still think that Bite the Bullet has a really good use. If you did combo Bite the Bullet and Iron Will together, that'd be a little bit of an overkill stealth perk build where you're going to be completely silent when you're injured, and when you're healing someone else, it'll also apply those effects to that survivor. So yeah guys, those were the pros and cons of Bite the Bullet and Iron Will. Let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful, and also let me know other perk comparisons of these pros and cons you would want to see in the future. I think these videos are really fun to make. So yeah guys, that's been the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. This has been Sharpshot, and I will see you guys in the next video.